Hey gaming fans, so today's another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for the GOAT format, and this one is hand control. Originally I did this deck, I called it Tomato Control, same idea. It uses the Mystic Tomatoes, and it just tries to attack the hand as fast as possible. So this is kind of like a sort of a fix-up of that deck. So for the first card, obviously we have a Spirit Reaper. So this is great for defense, but it's also good to rip a card out of your opponent's hand when they have an open field. So he can't be destroyed by battle, and every time he attacks and inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, your opponent randomly discards one card. Now, the only downside to him is that if they target him with anything, he's destroyed. But that's okay, because most times they're just going to have to waste a Snatch Deal or something just to target him. So then we got Sandgan, just because it's good search power. It can grab your Spirit Reaper, it can grab this guy, your White Magical Hat, because we do play some Chaos in here, so if you do need that light target, that's in here. Also, White Magical Hat is a card that's similar to Spirit Reaper in that if he attacks or does damage to your opponent's life points, they must randomly discard one card. The other card we have is Nudoria, which is a Fiend, 1200. He's really in here just to destroy a monster if you need to, and he's searchable through Mystic Tomato. And when he's sent to the graveyard as a result of battle, you get to destroy one monster on the field. So really good at getting rid of anything that might be, a problematic card on your opponent's side of the field. And then for some of these targets, we play the 3 Mystic Tomatoes. These are always going to float into whatever you need. So it's going to float into a Sandgan. It's going to float into the Nudoria. Depending on where you are in the duel, if you do need to get rid of something, even if it's like a Blackluster Soldier or something like that, you can ram it in, grab that Nudoria. You'll take some damage, but you'll be able to get rid of the card you need. Another card you can grab is one of the 3 Dawn Salugs. So this is again more hand destruction. So if he does damage to your opponent, you can either select to randomly discard a card from your opponent's hand, or send 2 cards from the top of the opponent's deck to the graveyard. So obviously if they don't have a hand, you could still do some kind of attack on them. Whether that's a good thing or not, it really depends on what you're playing against. If you're playing against a Chaos deck, it might not be a good idea to send cards from the deck to the graveyard, because you might set them up with their light and dark plays, but still, at least it's something. Or if you're playing against a combo deck, you definitely want to do that to try and disrupt their combos. He's also 1500 defense, which is pretty good. So if your opponent Tsukiyumi's him, they can't run him over. Then of course we have a Breaker, pretty standard card in GOAT format. It destroys a spell or a trap. Then we have 2 Blade Knights, really good card, especially if your opponent tries to set any kind of flip monsters. So if you have 1 or less cards in your hand, you increase this card's attack by 400 points, so then it becomes 2000. And if he's the only monster on your side of the field, you get to negate the effects of a flip effect monster destroyed by battle. So if they try and play a Magician of Faith or anything like that, they're not going to get their card. Also, he's a light monster, so he helps fuel the Chaos monsters in this deck. And for more of the fact that you have Chaos in the deck, I play 3 Thunder Dragon. So he's in here for that reason, deck thinning, and he's a tribute monster, which comes in handy for another card in this deck. For the other tribute monster, we play 3 of the Thestalos, the Firestorm Monarch. So when he is tribute summoned, you discard 1 random card from your opponent's hand. And then if it was a monster, you get to inflict damage equal to its original level times 100. So you could get a little bit of damage in there as well. But he's really in here for the hand control. So your main thing is to try and strip your opponent's hand as fast as possible. And for the Chaos monsters, we play 1 Chaos Sorcerer and 1 Blackluster Soldier. Both really good cards. Removes a face-up monster, removes any monster, double attack. Everybody that runs Chaos obviously runs the Blackluster Soldier. So for the spells, we got 1 Pot of Greed, 1 Graceful Charity, and 1 Delinquent Duo. Of course, Delinquent Duo has to be in here. I mean, this is a hand control deck, as I said, so getting rid of cards out of their hand is exactly what you want to do. And we got the 1 Premature Burial, Snatch Deal, Mystical Stace Typhoon, just very standard cards there. Heavy Storm, Book of Moon, so I play 2 Book of Moons, just for, slowing down your opponent if they do pull off a play, then you can try and run it over. But you also do play 1 Nobleman of Crossout, so these cards do work well together. If you need to flip a monster face down, then you can banish it from the field. And I'm playing 3 Soul Exchange. So this is what I meant by needing the extra tribute monsters. So the Soul Exchange is going to help with your Thestalos, and this is why I'm only playing 1 of the Noblemen, because these act as kind of the same idea, where you can tribute a face-down monster, you can tribute a face-up monster, it really doesn't matter. But then you can get your Thestalos out and rip a card out of their hand. But if anything, you'll always have at least 1 Thunder Dragon in your hand, hopefully. So if you do have a Soul Exchange, it's never a dead card if you don't have the Thestalos. So you can still get rid of an opponent's monster and get like a monster on the field. For the traps, I'm playing 1 Trap Dust Shoot. Originally I was playing a Lightning Vortex in that spot, but I thought, you know, I think there's enough monster removal in here from the field, so let's again attack the hand. So Trap Dust Shoot, it allows you to look at your opponent's hand and then send 1 monster back to the deck. Really good card. I don't know if I'd want to play more than 1, because your opponent has to have 4 cards in their hand to activate it. So if you're attacking their hand all the time, they're not always going to have 4 cards in their hand, at least if your deck is running the way it should be. So these could end up becoming dead draws. Really only good if you open it. So Call It a Haunted, just to bring back any monsters you might need. If you need to tribute summon or whatever, if you have to bring back your Chaos monster. Ring of Destruction, pretty standard card. Everybody, I think, plays Ring. Mirror Force, same idea. Just in case your opponent does get some monsters on the board, you might need to get rid of them. And then 2 Dust Tornadoes to try and clear the way for your direct attacks. Because you never want to, you know, have your Don Salug run into a Sakaratsu or a Mirror Force or something like that. So you always want to clear the path, and then you can attack your opponent's hands with your Don Salugs. So that's pretty much this deck's concept, is just basically get these guys out as fast as possible and tear apart your opponent's hand. Anyways, let me know what you think. Hope you liked the deck. Throw some comments down below. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.